Hello student, start today's session of software cost estimation. In today's session we see the different types of decomposition techniques, that is problem based decomposition technique, and second is process based decomposition technique. In problem based technique or decomposition technique we see the LOC based estimation and FB based estimation. LOC means line of code, FB means function point based estimation, and in process based estimation we see the use cases based estimation. The software project estimation is a form of problem solving, and in most cases the problem to be solved is too complex in one pieces. For this reason we decompose the problem and recharacterize it as a set of smaller problems. This technique is called as decomposition technique. Estimation uses one or both form of two different partitioning point of view, that is decomposition of problem and decomposition of the process. Before an estimate can be made, the project planner must understand the scope of the subject to be built and generate an estimate according to the size of the software. What is means size of the software we see in the previous lecture of the software engineering, that is software sizing. First technique is problem based estimation. The process approximating a value that can be used even if the data may be incomplete or unstable is referred to as problem based estimation. It is the estimate the software problem as it begin with a statement of the scope. The software is decomposed into the smaller problem functions and then estimating function point or LOC, then combine those estimate and produce an overall estimation. Your problem based estimation can be done using LOC based estimation and FB based estimation. LOC and FB data are used in two ways during software project estimation. First, as an estimation variable to size each element of the software, and second, an baseline metric collected from the past project and used in conjunction with estimation variable to develop cost and effort projection. First problem base is LOC based estimation. LOC technique is also used to directly calculate effort to be spent on the project. The LOC technique is an objective method of the estimating the size because there are multiple ways of calculating the line of the code. Therefore, an effort estimate is close to being accurate estimation. This technique includes the calculation of line of code, documentation of pages, input, output, and component of a software program. Components are again of multiple types such as report, screen, and files. Following example of counting source line of code. The code display here contain 4 line of codes. If EMP code is less than equal to 1200, then print welcome to the inventory database, else print access denied to the inventory database. Means using LOC based estimation we can easily identify the number of line of code in our software. The general consideration in LOC technique include the following things: that first, only the delivered line of code are included in a LOC calculation. For example, test delivers and the support software are not part of the number of line developed for the project. Second, only the source of line code written only by the development team as counted. This excludes the code created by the application generators. Next, only declaration statements are counted as a source of line of code. This excludes comments inserted to the improve the readability of the program. Disadvantage of using LOC technique. The LOC technique is a language dependent technique. The effort required to calculate source line of code may not be same for all languages. For example, to conceive and write 8 lines of code that accomplishes a task in the assembly language may require 15 minutes. However, you may need only the 5 minutes to complete the same line of code if it is written in the Visual Basic. Means LOC technique is totally depend on the language of the programming. Second problem based technique is FP technique. FP technique is a direct indicator of the functionality of a software application from the user's perspective. Means this technique is totally depend on function point. This is the most popular technique used to estimate size of a software project. The FB technique to estimate total size of a project. The total size of project is estimated as a single FB value. After calculating total size of project in FB, divide the total FB into the different phase of the SDLC. SD means software development life cycle. This way determine the how much effort per FB is required in the particular phase. Means using FB technique we estimate total size of project. Then total size of project is estimated as a single FB point. Then after calculating total size of project, then divide total size of FB total FB point into a different phase of software development life cycle. Using this way, we determine how much effort per FB is required in that particular phase. Means software decomposition. Using this technique, software is divided into as a phase of the particular software development life cycle, and using that phase we can easily calculate how much effort is required for that software development process. For example, the testing phase is planned for 20 FB of the work. The project managers, based on their past project experiments, determine the amount of effort in a man and person per month required in the testing phase. Similarly, we can express the cost required to complete FB of work for a particular phase. At the end of project, you can also express the number of defects reported in the term of per FB of for a phase. Next, advantage of using function points. Function points are a language and technology independent. The FB estimation uses subjective and holistic approaches for the project estimation. Disadvantage of using function points: FB generally uses data from a past project for assigning weights to the GSCS and the information domain value. FB does not usually provide precise and approximate estimate of the effort, cost and size of a project. Next technique is process-based estimation. Process-based estimation is applied as the function of a software is identified, then the framework is formulated for that function, estimate effort to complete each software function, apply the average labor rates, compute the total cost and compare the estimation. Means in process based estimation we apply the particular process for the estimation. Means in that technique function of software are identified, then for framework is formulated, then using that function and framework we can a- identify or calculate the total effort required to complete each software function, and using this we can easily identify the total cost and compare complete estimation of the that software. The use case based estimation is used for or identify the process based estimation. What is mean use case based estimation? Use case points is a software estimation technique used to measure the software size with use cases. Use case points counting a process has a following tips. Calculate unadjusted use case points, then adjust for a technical complexity, adjust for environment complexity, and calculate adjusted use case points. Then use case point is equal to unadjusted use case points into technical complexity into environment complexity. The advantage of use case point: use case points are based on use cases and can be measured very early in the project life cycle. Use case will be independent of the size, skill, experience of the team that implement the project. It is independent on the size, skill and experience of the team that implement the project. UCP based estimation are found to be close to the actual when estimation is performed by the experienced people. UCP is easy to use and does not call for a additional analysis. Use cases are being used vastly as a method of choice to describe requirement. In a such cases, UCP is the best suitable estimation technique. Next is disadvantage of use case points. Use case point can be used only when requirements are written in the form of use cases. It is dependent on goal oriented, well written use cases. If use cases are not well or uniformly structured, the resulting UCP may not be accurate. Second, technical and environment factor have a high impact on UCP. Care need to be taken while assigning values to the technical and environment factors. UCP is useful for initial estimate of overall project size, but they are much less useful in driving the iteration to iteration work of a team. Thank you. Continue in the next session of the software cost estimation.